Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the resale value of the Ram TRX, and we're going to compare it to the new Gen 3 Ford Raptor because we have some big updates with everything that's happened within the market. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post this content every single day. Let's dive into it. Now, for those of you that don't follow the main channel, I happen to own a Ram TRX and a Gen 3 Ford Raptor. Both of them are 2021 model year vehicles, and they're both fully loaded. The Raptor has the 37 performance package with pretty much every option added onto it, and then the Ram TRX has everything including the spare tire carrier and the Ram bar. And so obviously the resale values of both of these trucks are very important to me since I happen to own both of them. Now we first have to talk about the pricing history of both of these vehicles. So again, they're both released for the 2021 model year. However, the Ram TRX was released a lot earlier compared to the Ford Raptor. So I put my order in for my 2021 Ram TRX in August of 2020. Whereas with my Gen 3 Ford Raptor, I wasn't able to put my order in for that truck until I think it was July or August of 2021. So even though the model years are the same with both of the trucks, the release dates were pretty much a year apart. Now, moving from that to the actual pricing, the Ram TRX fully loaded at release was around $96,000, $97,000. Mine stickers for just under $95,000 because I got pretty much everything except for some silly options like the graphics and everything that I didn't need because, well, I wrap vehicles. Now, my Raptor, on the other hand, originally stickered for about $82,000. Again, that has every single option, including the 37 performance package. Now, if we look at the actual values of the trucks upon initial release in terms of what dealerships were selling them for and then what they're going for used, Ram TRXs were going for MSRP at a lot of dealerships, and some dealerships were charging, $10,000, $20,000 over MSRP and sometimes even higher. And then on the used market, they were selling for about that amount, $10,000 to $20,000 over original MSRP. Whereas with the Gen 3 Ford Raptor, they were pretty much selling at over MSRP with every single Ford dealer. There were a few that didn't charge over MSRP, but most of them were charging at least $10,000, and it was more in the $20,000 to $30,000 range over MSRP. And then the used ones were on the higher end of that range in terms of going for over MSRP. I mean, there was a long period of time where you could not get a Gen 3 Raptor used for less than like $120,000. It was kind of a crazy time. Now, with the whole market coming down over the last year, the values on both of these vehicles have declined, but they haven't declined at the same rate. And this is the thing that is really interesting. So we'll start with the Raptor first because this is the one that is the original in the segment, and then we'll dive into the TRX, which is the new player in the segment, and we'll see if the TRX holds a candle to the Raptor when it comes to resale value. So starting with the Raptor, and if you're wondering where I get these numbers from, I got both of my vehicles appraised very recently, and so I know exactly what they're going for in the market in terms of trading value and then retail value as well. With the Ford Raptor, you can still expect to see them going for over MSRP on the used market. And trade-in values, as long as your truck has relatively low miles, so like under 20,000 miles, is somewhere around MSRP typically, or sometimes slightly below MSRP. Again, that is trade-in value to the dealership. So that means if you want to go sell your Raptor yourself, then you can sell it for slightly over MSRP, typically, again, depending on the condition of your truck and mileage. And then if you're going to trade it in, well, you're basically going to get what you paid for it if you paid MSRP. So that means if you're paying over MSRP for a Gen 3 Raptor, then you're going to lose money if you trade it in, and you might break even if you sell it on the used market. Whereas with the Ram TRX, well, they are selling for significantly under original MSRP at this point. And again, this is going to depend on mileage. So the highest mileage Ram TRXs that are in the 60 to 70 to maybe even 80,000 mile range are selling for under $70,000. Again, retail price right now. And so that means that the wholesale or trade-in price on these trucks is like low $60,000 range. Like, that's crazy. And these trucks originally stickered for over $90,000 when brand new. Now, if we look at like the average mileage with a TRX, so 15 to 20,000 miles on a 2021 Ram TRX, you're looking at a retail value in the $80,000 range. And so you're looking at trade-in values that are significantly lower. And this is where I will give you the official trade-in values on both of my trucks. So with my 2021 Ford Raptor that has about 8,000 or 9,000 miles on it, I could still currently trade it in for right around original MSRP, which I think that is pretty crazy because, again, the whole market has gone down by a massive amount, and this truck still has a wholesale value around its original MSRP, not even its invoice, its original MSRP. My Ram TRX, however, that originally stickered for about $95,000, has about 15,000 miles on it, currently can be traded in for about $72,000 to maybe $73,000. So the truck is literally worth about $20,000 less than original MSRP. Both 2021 model year vehicles. Again, the Raptor was released at a slightly later date, but still, even though there's a slight mileage difference, I think that's pretty crazy that my Raptor actually is worth more than my Ram TRX when it had an MSRP that was significantly lower. Again, $82,000 MSRP versus $95,000 MSRP. And now we're talking about how the Raptor is worth more. It's just crazy. So what does this mean for the new Gen 3 Ford Raptor and for the new Ram TRX? First off, for the new Gen 3 Ford Raptor, this shows that there is still obviously a supply issue with that truck compared to demand, because with the market that we're in currently, if Ford was able to actually meet customer demand, then these Gen 3 Ford Raptors would be selling for under MSRP. I mean, we've literally had a market decline of over 20% over the course of the last year. And so, yeah, Ford is still definitely not meeting demand with their truck. Whereas on the other side of things, with the Ram TRX, Ram has actually done exactly what they said they would do. And that is, if you want a truck, they will build you a truck. That was literally their advertising for the TRX. And so with TRX values completely plummeting, it shows that Ram has accomplished what they went out to accomplish. And that is to build a TRX for anyone that wanted a Ram TRX. However, I do think this is going to leave a sour taste in the mouths of a lot of TRX owners because it just doesn't have the resale value that they were expecting. There was a lot of people that went from Raptors to TRXs expecting to have a similar ownership experience where they were able to buy a truck, have fun with it, enjoy it, and then sell it for, maybe what they paid for it or close to what they paid for it. But that's just not what's going to happen in reality. And so I do think that's very important to mention, because with enthusiast-based cars, if they hold their value really well, then they actually start to attract more and more enthusiasts over time, because people see it as kind of like a safe haven of fun where, again, you can literally have fun for free because you sell a vehicle for what you paid for it. The Ford Raptor is a good example of that because historically people haven't really lost a ton of money when it comes to resale value on them. The Jeep Wrangler is another good example. That it's another Stellantis product, but it does a lot better when it comes to resale, where again, that's a vehicle historically where you could buy it, drive it, have fun with it, and then sell it for close to what you originally paid for it. Any of the specialty GT cars from Porsche, like the Cayman GT4, the 911 GT3, for example, again, those are cars that a lot of times will sell for over MSRP used because of how hot that market is. And so, yeah, this is, again, a little bit disappointing overall. And so it'll be interesting to see how the Ram TRX community evolves. But on the bright side, because these values are coming down so fast and because they're going so low, the TRX is going to be appealing to a completely new audience, because at this point, TRX values are starting to overlap with Gen 2 Raptor values. And this is just my personal opinion, but this is based off of being an owner of a Gen 2 Raptor, a Gen 3 Raptor, and a Ram TRX. The Ram TRX is so much more truck than the Gen 2 Raptor. There is absolutely no comparison. And so this actually might put some downward pressure on Gen 2 Raptor values, because it's like, okay, I'm going to spend $70,000. Is it going to be on a V6 truck with leaf springs and live valve shocks? Or is it going to be on this crazy supercharged V8 Baja truck with insane shocks that, might not be as good as the Gen 3 Raptor shocks, but they're definitely a lot better than the Gen 2 Raptor shocks. So yeah, I think it will kind of transform the TRX community a little bit. The last thing that I want to discuss is where TRX values will ultimately fall. And they have a point where they're not going to go past, because the TRX has a lot going for it. First off, it is a pickup truck, and pickup trucks always have some inherent value because they can tow, they have a bed, and they just have a lot of space that you can use in general. And on top of that, it's a crew cab pickup truck. It's not an impractical single cab pickup truck that'll only work for, a few select buyers. It's a crew cab that works for most buyers. You've got a ton of space in the back seat area and then also in the front seat area as well. And then on top of that, it has a very special engine, right? It's got the Hellcat engine. That engine itself is like a $30,000 engine. And so that's another big thing going for the TRX, and just all the equipment in general. And so judging by what's happened to Hellcats in the past, and then also what's happened with like the Gen 1 Raptor and the Gen 2 Raptor, I don't really see TRX values dipping below the $60,000 range unless it's a salvage title truck or unless it has insanely high miles. I'm talking about like well over 100,000 miles, maybe even over 200,000 miles. Then I could see the truck selling for a lot less money because the mileage is so high. But it's just really difficult to see a world where a TRX sells for anything less than $60-something thousand if it has under 100,000 miles, when again, it has a Hellcat engine, it's a pickup truck, it's got a ton of space, it's got a ton of practicality, and it's still an insanely capable off-roader. Because once it dips down into that range, again, like I said, where it's in the same price range as Gen 2 Raptors and some, really clean low mileage Gen 1 Raptors, people are going to pick the TRX over those two vehicles because that Hellcat powertrain, first off, super reliable, and the TRX is so much more advanced than those other two trucks. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation with the TRX, if you're disappointed with the resale values or if you're a huge Raptor fan and if you're going to cheer on this situation and say that Ram TRXs are crap, because, yeah, Raptor fans are always interesting to say the least. But I'll see ya.